Perfect. So my name is Justin, as my wife said. I work for Corona Fire Department. I've been doing EMS for a little over 25 years. Joe's helping out here. He's been doing EMS, works for LA County. He's been doing EMS for just over 30 years. So I just tell you that to say like, hey, like we have some experience. We've done this before, and we want to make this fun, and we want you guys to learn something. All right? Go ahead.
Next slide.
Next slide, please. All right. The objective is to educate and provide you with the confidence to recognize and react effectively to a cardiac arrest emergency. So you'll be able to provide early treatment that is proven to aid in the outcome of the patient. All right? I really liked the vision statement for CP Kids. The vision statement was one of the things I noticed. The first thing that stood out to me is fun, right? So I don't know if you know much about firefighters, but we like to have fun. So it's important to us, and it's important to me and Joe that when we're teaching you guys today, that you guys reduce the stress as much as we can, and you guys have some fun, and you learn something, all right? Next slide, please. So good stuff, right? I think Joe probably has, I used to teach like the full CPR classes where you get the certificate and everything. What we're doing here today is not that. This is hands-only CPR. American Heart and Red Cross do not actually issue certificates for that. So the cool thing is we get to adapt the class to what we think is important, and we get to make it fun. I've taught those classes, and I felt like that instructor because there's a lot of people who are sitting in the class because, oh, for my job I need this, but I don't really care about doing it, right? You guys are all here today to learn how to do CPR, right? And to learn how to, as Cassidy was teaching, learn how to facilitate worship. So we want to make this fun for you guys, and we want you guys to learn. All right? Next slide, please, Robert. All right, so some of the stats here. Chances of survival go down 10% for each minute blood is not being circulated. So we're talking about in a cardiac arrest, if you see somebody go down every minute, the chances of them actually coming back go down 10%. All right? And the tricky thing is it doesn't start at 100%. So it just depends on the patient, right? Some people, it's their time and there's nothing. If they're at the hospital with the doctor standing by, there's nothing that's going to be done. Fire and EMS, right? So here in Southern California, right here in Marietta, they have an average response time of 4 to 6 minutes. And they have to, the goal is to hit that 90% of the time, right? Because sometimes we're not going to be there in 6 minutes. Sometimes it's going to be 10 minutes, right? If our local station downtown here is out on another call, that means another engine has to come. The statistics, I pulled this from our city of Corona, our community CPR class. The statistics are slightly skewed, but because there's other factors that go into it, right? But if somebody has cardiac arrest and there's no bystander CPR, their chances of survival are 14%. All right? Now, if you change that to cardiac arrest, or somebody actually saw it happen and started doing CPR, 60% chance survival rate, right? So it's a huge difference. And you guys are all those bystanders, right? I told you already, 4 to 6 minutes is when fire is going to get there. That's 40 to 60% less chance of survival. So if you guys start the CPR right away, We keep those odds up as high as possible. ROSC. Okay, that's a fancy term that we use in the medical field. It's return of spontaneous circulation, right? So it's actually the person's heart beating again by itself. So the survivability heavily correlate with bystander CPR. I'm just trying to pound this into your guys' head so you guys understand that, right? And remember that. 70% of all cardiac arrests occur in the home. So chances are, if you guys actually do CPR or see somebody go into cardiac arrest, chances are it's going to be in your house, right? Or your friend's home. So the skills that we're trying to teach you guys and provide you with today don't just apply here, right? They apply everywhere you go.
As a paramedic, I've showed up several times. We get the call, 911, you have a response to a cardiac emergency or cardiac arrest, and everyone is just standing around, whether it's coworkers or whether it's loved ones. They could have been doing CPR prior to our arrival, and it's unfortunate because if we were able to have people doing CPR, it could possibly save that person's life.
When I had walked up to the bus stop, there was just this crowd just covering the entire sidewalk, and they were all just standing around this man on the ground who was turning purple, and nobody was doing anything. It was kind of frustrating because there was a ton of adults, like 30 adults standing around this man, and it took me, a teenager, to step over there and say that something needed to be done. Just because of the CPR training that I had received in high school, I knew what to do in a situation like that. I knew the signs of when somebody needs CPR, so my training kicked in, and it was kind of like being back in the classroom responding to it. I told somebody to call 911, and I performed the CPR until the EMTs and the police department and the fire department came.
Everyone should know CPR because everyone has a heartbeat, and you never know when an emergency is going to happen, when someone may go into cardiac arrest. If you don't do CPR, then the person doesn't survive.
I didn't have any response from him, and when the EMTs arrived, they didn't get any response from him until they got him to the hospital, and when he was in the hospital, he was stabilized. When they told me that I had saved his life, I kind of started crying, but it was more like a relief tears that I had actually helped somebody instead of letting them die on the street.
All right, who's taking a CPR class? All right. So looks like a little over half the room. Has anybody actually ever done CPR before? You did chest compressions? Okay, you did the Heimlich. All right, cool. Right? So those of you who have taken the CPR class, you'll probably remember, right? Like 15 to 2, 30 to 2, right? 5 to 1. Those are all chest compression ratios. Those are all other numbers and things that you would have to think about, right? Adult versus pediatric, child CPR. You'll have one rescuer or 2 rescuers. Is there an AED, right? All of this stuff starts to cloud your thinking and your judgment process, right? And it just slows you down. It makes people generally afraid to act, right? Because they're like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know. I don't want to hurt the person. Sometimes people are afraid of getting sued. I don't think that that's generally the case, but sometimes that is, right? So we stopped teaching as fire departments, right? We stopped teaching CPR. We started teaching hands-only CPR. No more mouth-to-mouth. You don't have to worry about getting vomit in your mouth or locking lips with some stranger, right? So take that away. The confidence of you involved, I already talked about the numbers and all that stuff, right? But the bottom line is, as much as we make it easier for you, it's actually more beneficial for the person in cardiac arrest, right? You guys remember the old water pumps that people would use, right? Like at a farm, and you have to pump it like 10 times before you get any water out of it. That's the same function that your heart does, right? So every time we stop doing compressions, think of that water pump and think about, all that pressure, all that water is draining back down into that well, and it's not actually getting to where it needed to be. So why do we want to teach people to do 15 compressions? Oh, good, you just got that blood flowing, and now you're going to stop. So there's a change in the philosophy of community CPR. One other thing you'll notice on there is there's no pulse check, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but the basic idea there is that a pulse check is just too hard. It's hard for us in the field sometimes, right? And I've been doing it for 25 years. Sometimes it's hard, all right? If you don't see signs of life, you start CPR.
I think this guy's dead.
Looks like you're right. Someone should probably start doing CPR.
Wait, me?
Yeah, did you know if no one starts CPR before these guys get here? This guy's chance of survivability is less than 10%.
Less than 10%?
Yeah, and that's in good cases.
Wait, why do I even need to learn to do CPR? The first responders will fix him when they get here.
Not really. Doctor, tell him why.
Between most people's ears is something called the brain. After 4 minutes of no blood flow, the brain begins to die. And after 10 minutes of no blood flow, they become the vegetable.
Not the fruit.
Knew I should have went to the school of fruitology.
But when we do high-quality CPR, we move good oxygenated blood up to that brain, keeping it alive so fire rescue can stabilize him and get him to the hospital.
But Jason, I'm scared. I don't want to hurt anybody.
Totally understand. Come here for a second. Most people think that when we're doing CPR, we're breaking ribs, which might happen, but for the most part, it's just cartilage. So crunching is actually a good thing. Seriously?
Ah!
Listen, in the end, they would rather you do CPR on them than have to meet me.
How did you get in my room?
Spare key under your rock?
That's nice and all, Jason, but I'm not locking lips with anyone unless it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. No one attractive ever goes into cardiac arrest. But good news is you don't have to put your mouth on anybody. We do what's called hands-only CPR now. Put your hands in the center of the chest, push hard, deep, and fast, and that's it.
But I don't want to get sued.
Don't say the S word.
Have you been wrongfully CPR'd? Call 1-800-BAD chest compressions.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. There's something called the Good Samaritan Act that was created to protect people while doing CPR. So as long as you're acting in good cause for the patient, you're protected.
Okay, but what if I break a rib?
Protected.
What if I puncture a lung?
Covered.
What if I shock him with these? Not protected.
So what do you think? Want to give this a shot?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So just remember the 4 C's. 1, check for responsiveness.
Sir, are you okay?
If they don't respond, call 911. Next, check for breathing. And if they're not breathing, start doing CPR. And it's easy from here. It's just 200 straight compressions going in at least 100 compressions a minute. And every 200 compressions, you reassess. If they're breathing, put them on the left-hand side. If not, you get started over again.
And this is where we can sing Baby Shark.
We don't sing that song. We stick with the classics like Justin Timberlake.
Don't be so quick to walk away. It's me.
And just like that, you're saving a life. I know we made this video as humorous as possible, but in all seriousness, it's people like you, lay rescuers, that truly save lives. And listen, you can't do any of this wrong. And if you ever forget any of the steps, just call 911. We'll walk you through every step of the way. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe out there.
All right. So Fire Department Chronicles, if you're on the gram, he's a pretty funny follow. He just explained it pretty well and pretty humorously. So, what does a cardiac arrest look like? All right, that full video is several minutes longer, right? But you see, it looks like he just passed out, right? So if you see somebody that you think, oh, they just passed out, go over and check on them, right? Do the shake and shout. Do the things that you saw in the previous video. And then if you need to, you just start CPR. That guy, you wouldn't expect him to go into cardiac arrest. He's a young, healthy, the soccer player's got legit cardio. So you wouldn't expect that, right? But it can happen to anybody. Next slide, sir. So what we want you to do is recognize and act, right? If you go back to my objective, right? I want you to have the confidence to recognize and act. So if someone appears lifeless, just go up and check for responsiveness. Shake and shout. If they don't respond to you, 911 and start CPR, right? That means get your phone out, dial 911 as it's ringing, put the speaker on, set it there beside you, and start doing CPR, right? If they just passed out, they're gonna let you know, right? They're gonna let you know sooner or later that, hey, I'm fine. And even if they just passed out, they should absolutely have paramedics come and check them out, because that's not normal, all right? And if possible, get an AED. Does anybody know if we have AEDs here at church? Okay, where? All right, good. So you guys all pretty much know, but do we have more than one AED here at church? Yes. We have 3. All right, we have one in the main sanctuary, one here in kids, and one over there in admin. I'm not sure where you're pointing. Thanks. She keeps me in check all the time. I love it. Next slide, sir.
It's a friendly game of pickup hockey. Suddenly, it turns into a life and death drama on the ice. The man who just collapsed is a 54-year-old realtor, and he's having a massive heart attack. Now look at this player from the opposing team. Number 12 takes charge.
If he did not receive immediate attention, he probably would not be with us right now.
As luck would have it, number 12 is an emergency room physician. Dr. Craig Bryant immediately goes to work doing CPR. But it's not working. Dr. Bryant calls out for a defibrillator.
Yeah.
They've got one, and here it comes.
We administered that shock and administered a little bit more CPR for another minute and a half, and he started breathing on his own.
The stricken man is alive. Look what happens next. The paramedics arrive, but they can't skate. The hockey players guide them across the ice at the rink in Pineville, North Carolina.
The guys were skating, the EMS guys, out at full speed, hanging onto their arms.
The victim's name is Jib Street. The first thing he remembers is being in the ambulance.
I was looking up at Dr. Bryant and a first responder EMS guy that was in the ambulance, and I had my hockey gear on and 2 unmatching socks, so I didn't know I was going to be going for an ambulance ride that day.
Street had to spend the next 6 days hospitalized, but he's expected to make a full recovery thanks to the player on the opposing team.
The chances of having a cardiac arrest, but having it 10 yards away from an emergency room doctor in an ice rink that's equipped with a defibrillator, I'm a blessed man, and I'm very, very lucky.
As he was wheeled off the ice, a traditional salute from very relieved teammates.
All right, so you guys can see, right, like the first video, one of the first videos we watched, right, that testimonial, you had a teenage girl. Then we saw like trained professionals at a soccer game. Now we saw an ER physician actually give CPR, right? And anybody can do it, right? Those first minutes are critical, and anybody can provide that care. So we're gonna go into the next video, which is it's not as entertaining. It's kind of boring to watch, to be honest with you, but it's where we're gonna really see that for the next 5 minutes. I would really like you guys to pay attention, and you're gonna see the steps, you're gonna see it worked out, okay?
Anytime a friend or loved one is hurt, our first instinct is to help. Hi, my name is Lydia Mackey, and in the next few minutes I'm going to show you hands-only CPR, including how to know if someone needs CPR. I'll show you everything you need to know to help an adult who needs CPR. It's simple. Call 911 and then push hard and fast in the center of the chest. That's it. Before we get started, it's important for you to know that the #1 reason people don't give CPR to someone who needs it is that they're afraid of doing CPR wrong. Any CPR is better than no CPR. Your actions can only help. We're going to teach you effective hands-only CPR, and you'll get many chances to practice. You'll learn how to push hard and push fast, so the blood keeps moving until medical professionals take over. Before we begin, let me show you something that will help you know how hard to push. Minnie Ann has a built-in clicker. When you press down deep enough, you'll hear a click. Okay, let's get started learning how to help an adult who needs CPR. Watch as I show you how. Position yourself next to the person with his or her chest in front of you. Place the heel of your hand in the center of the chest. Now put the other hand on top, like this. Now keep your hands in the center of the chest and push hard, straight down. Make sure the chest moves down at least 2 inches. Then let the chest rise completely back up, like this. Now I want to show you how to figure out if the person really needs CPR in the first place. Let's say we've just arrived at a scene where an adult is laying on the ground. The first thing you should do is tap the person and shout something like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" If the person doesn't respond, she's not just sleeping and we better get some help, and say it like you mean it. "Hey you, call 911 now!" If you're alone, you'll have to call 911 yourself. The emergency operator will ask some important questions so that help can be sent quickly and to the right place. Don't hang up the phone unless the emergency operator tells you to. Once you or someone else have called 911, you need to start CPR right away. The victim might be gasping for air. If a person doesn't respond when you tap and shout and is only breathing in gasps, that person needs CPR. Okay, let's do that again. We're going to tap and shout and get help. "Are you all right? Can you hear me? Hey you, call 911 now!" If she's not breathing or is only gasping, you need to start CPR. Put your hands in the center of the chest and push hard and fast, straight down, at least 2 inches. Allow the chest to rise all the way back up after each push. If you keep your arms straight while you push, it makes it a lot easier. Keep pushing until the person starts to respond or until medical professionals take over. Well, that's it. When an adult needs CPR, call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest. If others are there to help, take turns pushing on the chest. Switch places every couple of minutes so that you don't get too tired. Whether you are alone or have someone to help you, it's important to continue pushing hard and fast until medical professionals take over. You've learned everything you need to help an adult who needs CPR. Call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest. Your actions can only help.
All right. Hopefully that was pretty informative for you guys. Not too painful. So what we're going to do here shortly is we're going to grab, I want you guys to team up in pairs of 2 and grab one of the mannequins in the back. I ask that you be careful with them. There is a little light on them that is going to tell you if you're doing CPR correctly, right? If you're going at the right depth and if you're going fast enough, you're going to see a light turn on, right? Just when you pick up the dummy and lay it down somewhere, just kind of be careful. We'll spread out in here. If we need to move some tables, we can go ahead and do that. Get up on the stage, the platform here, or whatever you guys want to do, all right? But practice, right? We're going to check for responsiveness. We're going to call 911 and request an AED. We're going to make sure that we have our hands properly placed. And we're going to perform compressions. 100 to 120 a minute is what we're looking for. Hard and fast, right? The depth is, and this is again one of those things that they teach you in the full CPR class. The depth that we're looking for is 2 to 2.5 inches. This mannequin is going to tell you if you're doing it the right depth. One of the things that's very important is that you allow for complete recoil of the chest. All right, like the way that we actually train, like we train so that way the palm of our hand comes off very slightly, right? So the idea would be that you could stick a card, a playing card, underneath between my hand and the chest of the person. If we don't do that free recoil, that full recoil, basically you're not allowing the heart to fill back up with blood. And then the recovery position. I can have you come up here and demonstrate for me. That doesn't work. Just lay down. All right, so if you have somebody that's in cardiac arrest, right, and they start breathing, and you can see them actually like, okay, but I've got signs of life now, right? They might not be talking to you because their brain is still not fully perfused. They still got a little bit of confusion going on. But if you see those signs of life, you're gonna want to do this, which is pretty easy. They might vomit, right? And this is why we teach you guys the recovery position. I'm gonna just take her arm that's away from me, right? And I'm gonna lay it out. I'm gonna pick her up behind the knee, roll her onto her side. Kick this knee out, right? It's a good kickstand. She's not gonna roll over onto her face. All right, and then this arm you can just put wherever you want. You can put it right here. And now I would just monitor it, right? Like make sure, okay, cool. If I ever think that she goes back into lifelessness, I can shake and shout. I can roll her right back over and go right back to CPR. Okay? And if you guys have called 911, thank you. If you guys have followed the steps and you guys called 911, the 911 operators will help you walk through that stuff. Yes, sir.
When you roll her on the side, does it matter which side you roll her on?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter which side. All right, so let's go ahead and, no wait, sorry, not yet. I got a video. You have a question?
Yeah. The Good Samaritan Act covers people even without a CPR certificate.
Especially people without a CPR certificate. Yes. There's a higher standard for like Joe and I, right? But if we're acting outside of our normal work capacity, like right here today, I'm not working, then I'm still covered by the Good Samaritan, right? Everybody is covered by it. Video, please.
Okay. How's Jamie doing? What?
Says he can't practice today. Says he's hurt.
Hey, Jamie. I heard you're not gonna be able to run with us today. That true?
Yep.
Why's that?
Because I'm at.
Really sorry to hear that.
Relax, Ted. It's just practice.
Hey, if you can't practice, you can't practice. You're hurt, you're hurt. It's as simple as that. But it ain't about that. At all. You're sitting in here, you're supposed to be the franchise player. And yet here we are, talking about you missing practice. We're talking about practice. You understand me? Practice. Not a game. Not a game, not the game you go out there and die for, right? Play every weekend like it's your last, right? No, we talking about practice, man. Practice. You know you're supposed to be out there. You know you're supposed to lead by example. You're just shoving that all aside. And so here we are, Jamie. We're talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game. We're talking about practice with your team, with your teammates. The only place that we get to play together, we got control over. Rest of the time, it's us 11 against those 11. We're talking about practice, man. I'm talking about practice. And you can't do it because you're hurt. Right? It's fine by me. Tell you what, do me a favor. When you get out there, set the cones so the other reserves can do a little passing drill.
You want me to set up cones?
I really appreciate it.
Colin, go set the cones up.
think he asked you, mate.
Was he talking to you, big man? Colin, set up the cones.
Isaac's right, he asked you. You are a second teamer.
Oh. That's got a sting. Cheers.
All right, I love Ted Lasso, man. There's so many good like leadership things in that show. But yeah, we're gonna practice now, right? In there, you saw the star player, right? The franchise player, and he needs practice. Joe and I, we need to practice. We practice at work. We train. We call it training at work, right? All the time. So that way, when we show up, we can actually do our jobs. And so I want you guys to recognize that if you ever come across a cardiac arrest, you can be the franchise player. You are the all-star, right? Because you're the first person there. And it's so vitally important. So that's why we're going to practice now. All right? Question? Yeah.
What's the difference between CPR and adult and CPR?
Oh, that's a great question, and we're going to get there. All right? I want to just practice what we've learned so far, and then we can talk about that. So if you guys pair up, grab a mannequin, find some place here. You're going to do CPR for 2 minutes. For 2 minutes, and then you're going to rotate. Like, who got tired? Okay, yeah, good. CPR is tiring, right? But when you're doing CPR, you want to be directly over their chest, right? Technique. You want to have your elbows locked out. If you start fatiguing or whatever, if you're lazy with your form and your elbows are bent, now you're using a lot more muscles that you don't have to use, right? And you're going to get tired much faster, and your CPR is not going to be as good, all right? So you want to have your arms locked out, be right over top, and now I can do this, and I'm using my legs and my back to do the CPR, right? I'm not using my arms. Really up. Okay? So we're going to practice again. Another round. You guys each do one more. Okay, cool. So a couple things. Joe just pointed out. Hey, if you are at home, right, and grandma's on the couch or grandma's in bed, that is not a good place to do CPR, because as you saw when Joe was doing it up here, this whole table was moving, right? That's the same thing with the mattress or whatever. You want to get the person onto a hard, flat surface. Ideally, most of the time it's going to be on the ground, right? And if you're up on an elevated platform like the table, now your whole depending on how high the table is, now you're actually using your upper body to try to do it. Like when they do it in the hospital, they have a little stool that they set right next to the hospital gurney that whoever's doing compressions is standing on, right? So that way they can get at the right height to actually do effective CPR, and they put a hard board underneath the patient, so it's not the mattress. All right, so just a couple things to think about. The question was asked earlier, what about kids? What about kids? Kids are pretty much the same, right? They don't really have a hands-only CPR class that I found that talks about kids. But if you look at all the guidelines, right, the rate is still the same. 100 to 120 is what we're looking for. With an adult, you're going to do two-handed CPR. Depending on how big the kid is, you might have to do two hands, right? You have a 14-year-old, and depending on if you as the rescuer are male or female, or how strong you are, you might have to use two hands, or it might be one. You're looking for that the compression of the chest, and as you see there with peds, adults is 2 to 2.5 inches, right? Pediatrics And they say pediatrics is anybody, once you hit puberty, you are just considered an adult, to make it easy, right? So whatever that is, whatever you think as the lay rescuer, like, I'm not sure if this is an adult or child, don't stress out about it, just do the best you can, right? But you see that the depth there is almost the same. Now when you start to talk about an infant is anybody under 1 year old, all right? Now we're talking about 1.5 inches. Let me go grab a mannequin real quick. So for a baby, for our infant here, right? There's a couple different techniques that you can do. But 2 fingers right there in the middle of the chest. You're just looking to compress that chest and allow it to fully recoil. Another technique, and this is actually kind of like a preferred technique. It's just, it's slightly more effective, but it does inhibit, like for us, when we get there, right? Like, it sometimes inhibits us from doing some things, right, for treatment. But you can see, like, I can just take my 2 thumbs and squeeze like that. And the reason that this one is slightly better, right, is I'm holding, like, as I do that, I'm kind of compressing the whole chest, like, with the web on my hand, right? But either one of those is perfectly acceptable. So pediatric kids, or kids, the people that you guys are taking care of here in CP Kids, it's really not that much different, right? Maybe you're going to use one hand, or if you're working in the nursery with the babies, 2 fingers, okay? And when we're going to practice again, if you want to practice with the baby, you're more than welcome to grab out of those 2 small blue bags in the back. You're more than welcome to grab one of those. So next slide, sir.
A high school volleyball game is underway outside Atlanta. The play is intense but friendly. Then a moment of utter horror. A senior suddenly collapses. You can actually hear the thud as she hits the hardwood floor. She lies there, lifeless, as everyone runs to her side. The teen is in full cardiac arrest. One coach performs CPR, but it's not working. It's looking grim for 17-year-old Claire Crawford. Then somebody rushes in with a defibrillator. There it is. It's in the black box. Sure enough, you can see Claire's body jolt from the electric charge. Julie Sermons is the quick-thinking school administrator who used the defibrillator.
Life started to come back in her, and it was wonderful to see.
And this is Claire today. It's a miracle. Claire says she was feeling fine during the volleyball play. Just seconds before she passed out, the ball came her way and she gives it a good whack. But then something goes wrong. She's in distress and clutches her heart, then collapses. Can you tell us what your symptoms were?
I had pain down my left arm, and my heart felt like it was working really hard, but I just assumed I was out of shape.
Claire's mom, Lisa, was in the stands watching the volleyball game.
We were just desperately praying. It was 4.5 minutes. I mean, it was a long time to watch them doing compressions, and definitely we thought we'd lost her.
Here's a defibrillator similar to the one that saved Claire's life.
Analyzing heart rhythm.
So it tells you everything.
Yes. Do not touch the patient.
Step by step, it will tell you exactly what to do. If it says stand clear, don't touch.
This is one teen who is truly lucky to be alive.
Claire, how are you feeling now?
Feel good, better than before.
I love that video because you can see that there's that teacher or administrator there, right, who's had probably a CPR class every year. But you can see the emotion that like overcomes her when she's talking about actually doing it, right? I can tell you, Joe can tell you, it's the greatest feeling in the world when you actually save somebody, right? And you see them then later walking around, and I had one gentleman recognize me, right? Or he didn't recognize me, but I recognized him. I'm like, wow, like we were doing CPR on you, Now we're here for a different reason, right? But just the gratitude that he had, and just knowing that, like, okay, he might not have had these last 4 years of life if somebody didn't do bystander CPR. Bystander CPR was done in that case. So we're going to talk a little bit about the AEDs, because in that video you saw that they used one. We talk about, for us, we talk about compressions are king, right? They are the most important thing in a CPR situation, right? All the medications we can give, sticking a tube down somebody's throat, right? Those things are all secondary. Compressions are king. And then if they're king, the AED is the queen, right? It's the next best thing, right? Sometimes when you're doing CPR, that heart's not going to just restart on its own because of the electrical activity that's going on in it, and it needs to be shocked, all right? And so that's why we have AEDs. That's why you can go find them at the library, at the airport, all over in public places, at church, obviously. But this is a vital tool. It's not something that just sits in the cabinet and is forgotten about, right? So we're gonna watch a quick video on this specific AED. There's no talking during this video, but they're just gonna walk you through the steps of how to use this thing. And there's a section for adults and a section for pediatrics. Go ahead.
Adult pads. Unit OK. Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help. Attach defib pads to patient's bare chest. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. No shock advised. Start CPR. Push harder. Push harder. Good compressions. Stop CPR. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Shock advised. Don't touch patient. Press flashing shock button. Shock delivered. Start CPR. Automatic defibrillator. Unit OK. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Don't touch patient. Shock will be delivered in 3, 2, 1. Shock delivered. Start CPR. unit okay. Pediatric pads. Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help. Attach defib pads to patient's bare chest. Attach defib pads to patient's bare chest. Don't touch patient. Analyzing.
All right, so we already talked about it. We have 3. The one right here in the main hallway. This is the only one that has pediatric pads in it, right? The other ones, the one in the main sanctuary, the one in admin, doesn't have pediatric pads. So right here, Joe's got the pediatric pads. So these things sit right behind the AED in the cabinet. If you're using it over here, you want to grab both of them, all right? The adult pads are already in there. They're already set up and ready to go. It's set up with adult pads because most of the time, most of the cardiac arrest patients are adults, right? So we want to be ready for what is likely to happen. We do have these in case it happens. In the event that I think it was in the video, in the event that you don't have the right pads, you have adult pads and that's all you got, then make it work, right? The machine actually measures the impedance between the pads, is a fancy electrical term, for how much resistance is between the pads, and then it will shock appropriately. Getting too much of a shock, if they get too much of a shock with the adult pads, is better than not having any shock at all. Does that make sense to you guys? Also in your cabinets, in this black bag right here, it's a carry-all, right? We call it a carry-all, or a tarp, right? It's just something that we can put the patient on to move them. I just want you guys to be aware that it's in there. There's also a stop the bleed kit in there. And if you guys, when we open these things up, you just pull this open right here, and you have a little kit inside here with the scissors to cut things open, and there's actually a face shield and some gloves and some stuff in here that are all great things, right? I'm not worried about you guys doing breathing for the patient, right? We kind of already talked about that. This is hands only. The AEDs aren't really included in the hands only American Heart curriculum, but we have them, so I wanted to make sure you guys are familiar with them, know where they are, and how to use them. Super easy, guys. You just turn it on, and it'll tell you what to do. If you forget the steps of CPR, it's going to tell you what to do. All right. And then these ones, like the church, they bought these before I became involved with safety or anything. They just happened to buy the best ones that are out there. So that's awesome. The other ones that you guys have seen in some of the videos, those won't tell you if you're doing your compressions fast enough or hard enough. This one will actually prompt you and give you feedback and help you do great CPR. Okay? So what we're going to do for this next practice session, I was demonstrating to you guys like this, right? I was doing that so you could see. I should have done on the deck here, right? So you don't want to necessarily be holding the patient because, baby's heavy, number one. Baby, the baby's head, perfect, Alex. Babies have large anatomically, right, their head is larger than compared to their body than an adult. And that head is going to flop around and do all kinds of things. So you want them on the ground or on a changing table or on a table when you do CPR on an infant, okay? No sense in holding them up in the air because you're going to fatigue faster and their airway is going to be, occluded or blocked off, and you could drop them. We don't want that. Questions. Go ahead.
Do we always grab the AED and use it if we think we need to do CPR?
Yes. The question was, should we always grab the AED? Yes. When you hit, when you have that recognition, right, that somebody has collapsed, you go to your shake and shout, and then you have somebody get the AED and you start CPR. So if the question is, do I get the AED and then come back and start CPR? The answer is no. Compressions are king, right? We talked about that. Compressions are the priority. As soon as somebody else comes to help you, have them go get the AED, all right? Because, and medicine is a practice, guys. Like, it keeps on evolving. The changes that Joe and I have seen over our careers and how we do CPR and how we shock people and how we give them medications is changing every couple of years. And we're getting better. Like, it's not just change for the sake of change, it's actually getting better. We see better results out of the field. So to answer that question a little bit more in depth, the reason why is if I don't have adequate blood flow going to the heart, I can shock it as many times as I want and it's not going to do anything. It's not going to help, right? So we want that blood flow going, right? And when that second person comes with the AED, you're not stopping compressions. Hey, open it up, get the pads out, get the pads ready to be put on, and then at that point, I'm going to take my hand off the chest and they're going to put the pads on. And it shouldn't take any more than 5 seconds. 5 seconds is a long time, all right? So your internal clock should be going. Hurry up and get those things on. And if you just get that, you saw the video, right? There was like a little puck in the center with the cross on it, right? The plus. That is, as soon as that's down there, you can put your hands back on, and now they can finish putting the pads on. The pads in the video we watched weren't very sticky. These ones, super sticky. All right? Real life ones are super sticky. Any other questions?
So in the video for the infant, I noticed for the adult on the chest and on the side here in red, and the infant's on the chest and on the back.
Correct. Actually, like, so the way we're actually taught now that chest and back is better for adults, right? If you think about it, if I put one here and here, the electricity has to travel between these two pads, right? If I put it here and here, it's shorter distance and it goes directly, So truly better is front and back, right? But it's negligible in adults. In pediatrics, they teach you front and back just because their bodies are smaller. They do make the pad smaller, but it's just too big. All right, so front and back. Anybody else got any questions? Yes.
Say someone is choking and you're trying to have it deliver and it's not working. Can you try CPR or is that only for unconscious?
So I was gonna add choking into this, but I'm already looks like I'm 27 minutes over time. So I didn't want to burn your guys' day, but yes, that's a great question. And yeah, when the actual next steps with choking, when somebody goes unconscious, if you're doing the Heimlich and now they're unconscious and they're dead weight, you put them on the ground and you start CPR. The chest compressions will do very similar to the Heimlich maneuver and try to expel that, whatever that is. All right? Anybody else? If you guys want to hang out and practice some more, because I know you guys love practice, you're more than welcome to. If you got questions, I'll be here for a while, and you can hit us up. Thank you.
Thank you.